Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday. Today is Dog Walker Appreciation Day, and I have quite a bit to say. So, those of you that followed me before I started doing what I'm doing now, I was a part-time dog walker, and it was a lot of fun getting to meet all the dogs and helping them with their, learning to walk on a leash and leash reactivity and getting to see different dogs every day. That was a lot of fun. But I wanted to give you a little bit of background just about all the things that dog walkers actually do, because people think it's just, they take the dog for a walk, come back, drop it off, that's it. But quite often there's more to it. And I'm going to go through some basic benefits of dog walking or hiring someone to walk your dog part-time for you. So not only do we schedule all the dogs to make sure everyone gets as close to their preferred time as possible, which can be a lot because things come up and people say, oh, this thing happened and I need to leave. Can you check in on my dog? And sometimes it's not even a walk. Sometimes it's just check in, potty break, feed them, something like that. A lot of dog walkers also do part-time pet sitting. So this is something they have to, there's lots of courses you can take for that, but there's background checks and stuff like that when you're doing pet sitting, but it is a whole other responsibility. And having visited quite a few, and we've actually dog sat here before, obviously before it was under construction, but it's a lot of responsibility, and we want to make sure that your dog has a great time and nothing happens to them. And quite often we will feed them and even train them a little bit if we have that background. We play with them, teach them good play skills. We're out when they're walking and we teach them, how to walk on a leash properly, how to react to other dogs well. And in whatever weather, a lot of dog walkers still work in, the rain and the snow. And personally, I've walked in a monsoon before. One of the worst rainstorms we had a few years ago. And I've walked on icy days uphill, no ice cleats. I still haven't gotten ice cleats, but definitely something to look into. But it's a lot of work, and on those days where, maybe you're not feeling well or somebody's sick and you're taking care of them, or you have a big event, to have somebody come in and check on your dog gives you that peace of mind. And it also helps you make sure that your dog gets enough exercise, because I find that a lot of dogs do not. So, how do you know if you should hire a dog walker? Is your dog getting enough exercise is probably the number one thing. Are you home enough in the day to make sure that they can go to the bathroom when they need to? If you have a neighbor that can let, neighbor's kid that can let them out to go pee and then let them back in, that kind of thing. Especially for people who work 9 to 5 and nobody's in the house for that whole time. Most pets, it's not good for them to hold their bladder that long. So having somebody come over, take them for a walk, do a pee poo, do their sniff, come back is usually not only physically good for their body with the exercise and the bladder release, but also good for their emotional health, because oftentimes if they're left at home a lot by themselves, they get really bored, they can get into destructive behaviors, they can develop severe separation anxiety. If they're only ever with this one person and then they leave to go to work, then they're quite anxious when they're home by themselves, and having that release of activity is really good for them. Socialization time is one of the other benefits, because I walk my dog 6 days a week. One of those days, she has a play date with her friend and they get their socialization time. The day that I do not walk her, I have a lovely lady by the name of Deb, and she comes and takes a group of dogs out together. And one of them, actually, she grew up in the daycare that I used to work at. They grew up there together and they didn't used to like each other very much, but now they're best friends. So she gets really excited to go out with her friends, and they go for a run and they swim and they play. And she's so exhausted when she comes back that I can get so much work done, and she's happy. She's had her playtime. She has 2 a week between that and her other hike with her friend, and it's really great. People who maybe work really far away and they just want to make sure their pet has a bathroom break, especially if you live in an apartment. because it's harder for, people to go to your apartment, take them downstairs, let them go to the bathroom, and bring them back up. Hi, Michelle. And so if you live in a house, it's easier because you can ask your neighbors, but if you live in an apartment, it's more work for you to take them down. So if you have someone that comes and does it for you while also giving them exercise, it's a good stress reliever for you because you know that they're cared for. If your dog has obedience issues or leash reactivity, a lot of dog walkers are dog trainers in some form, and they know quite a lot about it from walking all the different types of dogs that they've walked. And some even provide extra training at a cost on top of the walk. So they can do a training type of walk where they're walking and they're teaching them how to react properly to, new stimuli, maybe something that they've been afraid of. I've met dogs that are afraid of people who wear hats. That's something that they can desensitize them to. But especially if you're not sure, you don't enjoy the walks because you're so stressed out that your dog's going to react to everything, that having someone help you get them walking more easily relieves the stress for both of you, because then you'll both enjoy it more. Days when you're extra busy are for sure a good one. If you have, there's some weekends where I'm teaching the whole weekend, and yes, Kaya can stay here with my family, but nobody walks her except for me. So having somebody come at least one of the 2 days and take her out, if I'm not using her in the class. I do sometimes use her as a demo dog for the small animal acupressure class. But if I had an event or like a meeting downtown or something like that I make sure that she gets out. If you are one of those people who doesn't like waking up early before work to take them out, or you have kids and you're worried about that in the morning instead, that this makes sure that they get the exercise and socialization and mental stimulation that they need during the day. Days when you're ill or injured. So there's been 2 times since I've had Kaya, 3, that I haven't been able to walk her myself. One was after my car accident because my whole body hurt and could barely get out of bed for the first little while. I also had surgery on my toes after I was a dog walker because I was wearing, when I dog walked through the winter, I was wearing snow boots all day, and they got really sweaty and they were rubbing on my feet because they weren't quite fitted properly. And so I got ingrown toenails and I had to get that surgery, and I wasn't allowed to wear shoes for 2 weeks. So people had to chip in, and she was still small at that point, so it was easier to distract her, but still I wanted to make sure that she got the stimulation that she needed because I knew nobody else was going to walk her, because at that point she was still a little rambunctious when you walked her. She's really good now to walk. I've seen toddlers walk her, but at that point my family was not at the point where they could walk her. Third was last October when I was really, really sick for 3 weeks and had to end up postponing one of my classes because my sinus infection was so bad that I couldn't get out of bed. My face hurt most of the time, my chest hurt, all of that, and I couldn't take her out. So I made sure that somebody was coming to take her, making sure she was getting her exercise, and she has no memory of me being sick because she was having so much fun. But there are a couple of different ones that I know depending on when you live, so if you want their information, let me know. There is the lady that lives here that takes Kaya. Her name is Deb. She's with PP Patrol, and Kaya always has such a great time. She cries when she sees Deb's car pull up. And there's a couple that I used to work with actually at the doggy daycare, and now they're both dog walkers independently. And 2 of Kaya's previous 3 dog walkers moved away, one to Nova Scotia and one to Australia. So there's another one also named Deb. But if you're looking for a dog walker and you want a reference, always ask them because they're really good about supplying it. Some of them even have contracts that you can sign that, if something happens to your dog while they're on the walk, you're giving them permission to, pay their emergency bill for the vet hospital. If something, like if their car gets hit by another car and that dog needs to go to the hospital, you're giving them pre-permission to pay as much as they need to pay to help your dog, which is a good comfort because that's not something a lot of people think of. But all things said and done, most of us, all we want is for our dogs to be happy and healthy, and this gives them a little bit of both. And I think that, well, if you have a big family and everybody loves to walk the dog, then I'm sure you're fine. But for a family where everybody's busy doing their own thing, and I am happy to walk her, she doesn't like walking in the rain or when it's really, really cold or really, really hot. So she's got all the base levels covered because weather is usually a big deterrent for people. But yeah, I walk her 6 days a week, and right now I'm juggling quite a lot of stuff. But I wake up early to take her right now. In the winter, we try and aim for the middle of the day because we're aiming for the warmest part of the day, just for her preference. But there's no excuse for your dog not getting to go to the bathroom and not getting exercise when there are lovely people who will come and walk your dog. Even somebody to come and let them out. It doesn't cost that much, but a lot of times if you're coming to have them let your dog out, it's worth it cost-wise to just let them walk your dog too. But that's just my 2 cents after being on both sides of the dog walker, being a dog walker and having a dog walker. But I hope you found that helpful. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. I know a lot of kids are going back to school this week and the teachers are going back to work. So I wish you all the luck, and I will see you later this week for an Instagram live video.